Previously on Opportunity Knocks.
What is your dream job?
I actually want to do like a Medicaid cab.
What is that?
A lot of people need rides to their appointments. Insurance usually covers rides like that. So I would like to be that ride.
We needed help in trying to get pregnant.
How much money have you already spent?
We spent in total $75,000, and we're not done with this.
Let's be honest. What kind of a burden is it putting on the marriage?
I started a Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I made $100.
We got to figure out if that's something that you should be doing.
Every day, millions of Americans must make the choice between rent and food. Opportunity Knocks has matched 3 expert coaches with 6 struggling families to give a personalized financial experience that even you can benefit from. Through this journey, we will see that the American dream is possible with the right advice. Will the obstacles they face prove to be too much for these 6 families? Or will the coaches help them open the door when opportunity knocks?
We want to work on moving in the direction that you want, right?
Okay.
We're going to work on lowering your debt.
Okay.
We're going to work on your finances, figure out how we're going to have this baby, where we're going to have this baby, where we're going to live. How do we give you that independence? How do we learn to monetize your creativity to have fun again?
I feel excited. I feel nervous. I feel vulnerable.
So I'm going to share with you some worksheets that I use.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll leave these with you because I'm going to give you homework.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? So if we can all get maybe some pens or pencils.
I'm very skeptical. I've always been skeptical, and it's just the way I protect myself. I don't want to get excited about something and it not come true.
I want you to take this worksheet and off the top of your head, write down 7 values that are important to you. What are values? Values are things that are important enough that drive your behavior. So for example, even though you're in desperate need of money and you see a man who drops his wallet and you see that there's like, $100 bills sticking out. If you value honesty or integrity, you pick up that wallet and say, sir, you dropped your wallet, knowing how desperately you needed that money.
Yeah.
Right? All right, once you're done, I'll take that from you. All right, I'm gonna put Fiona for here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prioritize these values and I will ask you which is more important, right? Spirituality, health, freedom, love, transformation or healing, passion, creativity, she kind of put them in the same box, and then family, partnership. So I'm going to make it simple. Transformation or healing, is it transformational healing? Is it one word? Is it one or the other?
Actually, it is probably together.
Okay,
Yeah.
Transformational healing.
Yeah.
And then family, relationship, just relationships or just family?
I think Lewis is really helping us see what we value and what order that's in. And it's okay if it's not exactly the same, but as long as we're aware of what we value, then we can help support each other more and be more of a team and not so separate.
One of the things that we forget sometimes to put down here is we forget to value ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to clean up your finances and really feel empowered, it's going to start with you shifting your mindset and saying, I'm committed to this. I'm not interested, but committed. You know the difference, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump into some homework.
I never was a big fan of homework, but if it's homework that's leading me to my ultimate goal, I'm gonna do it.
The very first thing that I want you to do is reach out to your friend who has the Medicab business.
Okay.
And ask them questions like, what was the process like? What were the first few steps that you took? Now, anything that you do is gonna have maybe 100 steps.
Yes.
Don't get overwhelmed. You just need to ask about the first few steps that you took. Where do I need to begin? You may wanna ask how much money they had
started with.
saved, right? Like, what are the professional licenses or anything they needed to get in place
Okay.
so that you can start to create your plan. So that's
Okay.
number one. Okay, number two, we got to do the math.
Math.
Yeah, we have to do some math. So I know you threw out a few numbers there, but I need you to know what it would take for you to be able to get off Section 8.
Okay.
So I need you to do the math, right? When you think about average housing here in Tampa, what dollar amount you need to come up with to live how you and your family want to live. What does that look like on an annual basis? And the third one, I want you to go to the Opportunity Finder because we need to get you paired up with a CDFI here in Tampa that's going to really help you take a look at your budget and your numbers.
So what exactly is a CDFI?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. A CDFI is basically a credit union that really has services and resources that helps low-income people.
Okay.
They do everything from help folks with like mortgage assistance to even car loans. I know for me, when I was going through my whole experience, in 2011, I was upside down on a car. I had a double-digit interest rate on a car, and I went to a CDFI. Yeah, in Atlanta, and they literally helped me refinance that car into a single digit.
That's cool.
It was a blessing because I didn't have the best credit at the time. I didn't have high income, but they were willing to work with folks. Most of the people that they work with were people in that position.
All right, that's good information. I never knew that. I'm excited because once Patrice explained to me about CDFIs, I realized it was something I really needed, especially being that I'm new to the area and I don't know all the resources that's available to me.
Okay, so you have your homework. You have your 3 assignments
Yes.
that you're committed to.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
you know, I'm here for you. I'm gonna be in touch. We'll see each other again.
Yes.
And I wanna hear some good progress.
Definitely will. I would definitely look into all of this and I would contact you once I'm done.
Let's hug it out.
Thank you so much. I feel like Patrice is telling me to do it because she did it. And if she feels like if she can do it, why can't I do it? Or why can't anybody do it? And I'll see you next
Yes,
time.
I will see you soon.
We've been together basically since we were like 23 years old, so over 10 years.
Oh, wow. Do you sit down and do you do a budget together?
Not really.
Gene, it's not as scary as I expected it. It's all about the anticipation, and then once it's happening, it feels like, okay, I'm in it now.
I do see sort of a confusing picture, and I think the reason for the confusion sort of ties into the fact that when I asked you for all of your expenses, the things that you named for me, they don't add up to nearly the amount of money that you guys are taking home. So that money's going somewhere, and you're not exactly sure where.
Yes.
Which means you got to find out. And so the best way to find out is to track your spending. And just for a month, if you can start just keeping track of the flows of money.
Okay.
At any time you spend anything, write it down.
I think Gene is approaching our money in a way that's simple.
And you want to share those things with each other. I mean, maybe there are even places where you guys are doubling up on expenditures, and you'll figure that out, and then you can get rid of one.
I was thinking that I was going to have to be doing trigonometry to figure it out, and she broke it down in a way that is very understandable.
And by doing that, we can start pushing more money into the student loan repayment if we want, into emergency savings, eventually into an additional daycare payment or retirement, but it'll be your choice because you have some additional knowledge about what there really is.
Okay.
And I'm wondering about higher paying jobs. So being a teacher in the Philadelphia school system, totally admirable, but could you earn more money teaching somewhere else?
Yes. Every district, their teacher salaries are different and their pay scales are different. And unfortunately, in the suburbs, there are districts that are making more money.
Would you think of that?
No. I am a product of public education. I believe in public education, and it would hurt my soul to leave. And it kind of feels like being on the Titanic and being like a violin player, because it's like, oh my gosh, everybody's leaving. Like if we all leave, who's gonna be there?
I feel really strongly about staying in my job. I love my job, and I also, like I said, it's a school that I want May to go to. It's really important.
It's really
that I
important.
stay.
I will share with you, you don't get from here to here without a strong enough why. So tell me why a family and children are important to you, and tell me why transformation and helping other people has been important to you, because I think it's a feeling you've had your whole life, right?
Yeah, because I've been through so much with IVF, I guess I'm sometimes afraid to talk about it. What I've seen is that there is no support for women going through IVF. So I actually got this hit to become an EFT practitioner. It's emotional freedom technique. Heard of that?
Interesting.
Do you know about that?
No, I do not know about that.
It's basically where you combine Chinese medicine and psychology together, and you are tapping on the pressure points on your body, and you're going through the experience. You can help relieve stress, trauma. It's helped me so much, honestly, going through this process. So my idea was to become a coach, like a transformational coach.
So you're going to start your own business doing this?
So that's the idea, yes.
Phenomenal.
I would like to help support others going the same process that I've been through. You feel like you're just a number. You're going through all of these drugs. You're hoping for the best. You're spending all this money. And I would love to help other women going through the trauma of their IVF process.
And I've always said, listen, just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you know how to run a business that does that something.
Yes.
So I'm going to add a little bit more homework. You're going to have a lot of homework, but this is the big homework. And you're going to go to the Opportunity Finder, and you're going to go to where it says a business plan. We're going to help you build a business plan to help you create this business, right?
Okay.
And then next, you're still going to go to the Opportunity Finder. I want you to go in there and look for an organization, a credit union, or somebody that's going to help us start looking at the debt and maybe helping you lower that debt.
Okay.
I've worked with other clients that have gone through these IVF, and they've spent so much money and they've gone into debt. There are times where there's been some kind of predatory lending when it comes, because people are very vulnerable when they're in the situation that they want to have children. So I want to make sure that we go back and take a look at the interest rate that you're paying on these loans, and if you're paying too much, go through this Opportunity Finder and find a location, find a credit union that may be able to refinance this debt and save you a lot of money.
Wow.
And also for the big goal, right? They might help us to get some financing or some funding to help you buying your own home.
It's a lot of homework, but I love homework, and I'm so excited to be just starting this journey with you, and so I'm so thankful that you're spending your time
Well, I'm
with
really
us.
appreciative. So I'm gonna leave you guys now.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna leave you all this stuff here, all the homework. I'm gonna follow up with you. We're gonna schedule another meeting.
Okay.
And that's it for today. All right, James.
Thank you so
All right,
much,
we'll see you soon,
Louis.
right? Fiona, I'm gonna leave you with all that mess.
I like how Louis is spelling it out just one task at a time, so we don't have that overwhelm of this all has to happen at a certain date, but here's what you do now, and then we'll come back in the future, and here's what you'll do later when we get to it. So it's so simple, and he breaks it down so clearly.
Thank you so much
I
for your
really,
time.
guys, I've really enjoyed this. This is awesome. You guys, I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.
Great.
We'll walk you out.
Okay, thank you.
Could you earn more money teaching somewhere else?
Yes.
Would you think of that?
No.
Jean talks about possible career changes. Hannah is
Shot her down.
pretty set on teaching public education.
How about you, Juliet? Could you earn more money doing what you do somewhere else?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is send you to the Opportunity Finder. And that's basically a tool that you can use to find different not-for-profit resources in your community. I want you to look for two specific things. The first is a career counselor. And specifically for you, Juliet, I think talking to a career counselor about what other options exist in the not-for-profit space, and also what is the delta, what's the variant between working in a not-for-profit as a social worker and going into a corporation. Like,
Okay.
what's the difference in salaries? Is that something that we should even think about?
Okay.
Right? The second thing I want you to look for is something called a financial counselor. It's different than a financial advisor or a financial planner. They're not going to look at your investments. They're going to look at your cash flows. Where's your money going?
So we need.
How are you budgeting? How are you going to stay on budget? It's a lot of the work that we've been talking about today, but we'll also look at consolidating some of those accounts and whether or not that makes sense, and whether or not down the road you want to merge more of your money or you don't. Couples are doing very different things.
I feel like both of us are very task driven. And so when someone like Jean Chatzky gives you homework, you're like, okay, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
And in a timely manner.
So you guys will do those things and then we'll meet again. Sound okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. The road ahead feels like a little less scary. We've already opened ourselves up, and Jean didn't like run out crying and screaming. And so I feel like she'll come back. I don't think she'll ghost us.
And if you have any questions or issues or anything, just text me.
Okay.
And
All right.
we'll just work it out.
Okay.
Kumar, come here and bring that dry erase board because we got some work to do. I had a financial coach come to me today while I was at school. And her name is Patrice, and she's telling me all the things that I need to do in order to get us off of assistance, get our own home, our own business, everything. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
One of the homework assignments that she gave me was to figure out what I needed to do to be able to get off of Section 8 and any other assistance. You down to help me with that?
Yeah.
Kumar is pretty helpful and he loves math. So when Patrice gave me my homework and we had to figure out finances and how much I would need, I had to pull Kumar on in, get your whiteboard out, let's figure out some numbers. First thing we do know is Section 8 pays about $1,738 of the rent. So rate that. And we know, they pay that every month, so for 12 months. So we're gonna times that by 12 months to see how much money I would need to make to cover the portion that they're paying. Kumar is my only boy. Do it underneath, do it like a math problem. Well, he's quiet. He doesn't say much to anyone. He stays in his own world. You would never think he was a twin.
20,856.
So they give us $20,856 a year. So in order to get off of Section 8, I would have to add that on top of what I already make. I make about $30,000 a year. So yep, add that together.
50,856. Do you think you can make that much by doing what you're doing right now?
Absolutely not. Not even with all the overtime in the world. Seeing those numbers definitely gives me an unsettling feeling. It makes me feel like this is impossible. Why are you even thinking about this? You know you can't do it. I really don't know what we're gonna do in order to make this type of money, but Patrice told me to figure this out. So I'm going to call Hindi and see how this all works. See if he has any pointers or anything. He owns his medical cab company. I know someone who started a Medicaid business back in upstate New York. He knows the steps. He knows the 1, 2, 3 of it. He started with 1 van and he went all the way up to about 5 vans. As long as he's able to show me the steps and I'm able to do them, we should be good.
Okay.
And another key factor she told me, you know, because our goal is to save money. She noticed our sneakers. She said, you know, that's something that we're definitely going to have to cut back on.
Does that mean my Jordans or your Jordans?
That means all of our Jordans. We are a big sneakerhead family. I think a lot of that plays because we are from New York, so that was a big thing. We are trying to get out of it. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I like Jordans. I will want Jordans, but if it helps us get off Section 8, then I'll be proud of it.
In my family, no one really spoke about finances. You never really knew what was going on. Growing up like that, it taught me I needed to be a little more open with my kids. I let my kids know what's going on, and you know, I don't just tell them no. You know, I explain to them, sorry, we can't do this today because I had to pay such and such, and they understand.
So we're done with our homework?
Patrice told me we're never done.
Okay.
So for now, we're done.
Okay.
She was so nice.
I know. I was really nervous at first, but she brought my nerves down and calmed me down.
Yeah.
It felt comfortable with Jean, and it felt like she was on our side and was ready to help us. Jean didn't seem like super thrilled about teachers pay teachers. How are you feeling about that?
Like, I feel like I totally understand where everybody is coming from, where it's like, girl, if you're spending X amount of hours and you're only making like $100, then it's not worth it. But I've been teaching for so long, and I've had to navigate tough conversations when students or parents have made homophobic or transphobic comments, or making sure that classrooms are safe, that like these resources will be so helpful for all teachers who are worried about having those conversations, because it anchors it in LGBTQ history. And it should be a part, if you're going to be teaching comprehensive United States history.
It's history.
Yeah, like history is history.
We know it's important.
Yeah.
And so maybe this isn't like your moneymaker, you know, maybe this isn't like, but like this is still important to you. If it's important, it's important.
Being a teacher is wearing many different hats. Like sometimes you have to be a parent, sometimes you have to be a therapist, and it's so important, and I wish we were treated like we were that important.
So the other thing Jean talked about, like all the accounts.
And
I mean, I think we've been together for so long. And so we started off with like separate accounts, separate bills, and like bringing our own debt into our relationship.
I find it like interesting that when these big life changes happened, when we started planning for a wedding or decided to be parents, like it's like we added an account.
Yeah, we added.
Rather than drop one. And it's like, it's just made things kind of confusing when it's
like who's responsible for what and balancing each bill.
And I remember when we bought the house, you said, why don't you put utilities on the joint account? And I remember being like, it's already set up. And it's just not wanting to call PICO or PGW.
Yeah. It's probably not going to be that hard once we get started, but it's like the getting started part just seems like such a hassle. Yeah, Jean saying about talking to a financial counselor, like I think they'll be able to help us get on the right foot.
Yeah, and I also think it's helpful to have somebody else giving you a deadline.
Seriously.
To find your own opportunities, please visit OpportunityKnocks.net. Next time on Opportunity Knocks.
You have come to the land of milk and honey, girl. I told you, if I can save you some money, you would love me for the rest of your life.
I'm gonna love you for the rest of my life.
Yeah, 2 appointments down, cross it off the to-do list.
Okay.
There's nothing about poverty that you appreciate. I didn't grow up with means.
We're actually one of the few credit unions in town that can work this kind of structure.
Between the two of you, there's 13 credit cards, and that is a lot. I'm suggesting to cut them up.